Welcome back to episode 24 of Where Blades Walk. This week, did Chris Wilder disrespect the FA Cup too much? And actually, do we care? We'll be getting the panel's views on that. We're talking about transfer rumours, of course. Just what's the latest on Brereton Díaz? And we've asked AI to predict the home fixtures of the Blades. And the final points total will give you whether this lot agree with it in a second. And because it's January, we're asking you to give us the worst Sheffield United side of the Championship era. We're starting in goal this week. Who's the worst goalkeeper you've ever seen? Thank you very much for joining us. This is Where Blades Walk with Connor, Dan and Shax this week. If you haven't yet done so, please do drop us a like and a subscribe at the bottom. We're looking for 350 subscribers by the end of the week. Can you help us get there? We're so close. Right then, FA Cup to review this week. Connor, did your manager disrespect it?
I think he did, yeah, to be honest. But you can understand why. At the same time as you always want to see United win. It always kind of bothers you a bit, but you've got to understand it. Our stretch we are in terms of injuries. Until we get them bodies in, it's more important Norwich coming up than getting through to the next round, in my opinion.
Okay, and this was a tweet from SUFC Talk 94. I've never seen as many sloppy passes and a lack of quality. Refund all those who attended, all 400 of them, or however it was. I hope Chris's lack of respect to the cup gets the criticism it deserves. All right then, Shax, are you going to criticise it or not?
No, I don't know. I think disrespect's the wrong word as well. I think he prioritised the league, so that's all I think. I don't think he disrespected Cup. He's got a decision to make, and we're running light on players. Had that been like I don't know, let's say Leeds at home compared to say Plymouth at home, he'd have probably fielded a week. They're both in league. He'd have probably fielded a weaker side against Plymouth as he would Leeds. So I think he just had to prioritise who the opponents were and what is our priority, and that's the league. So I don't think disrespect's the right word. I just think he obviously prefers league, as all Sheffield United fans will tell you. I should imagine.
Yeah, that's where the money is, and I'm sure that's where the new owners want him to focus his attentions, isn't it? Dan, yeah. The other poster there says, "I feel for the youngsters, even though they played well below what would have been expected from them. Wilder just left them out there to suffer and prioritise the fitness of the 6 first-choice players that he does have." Do you believe in that, or is that too harsh?
No, I think he's given the youngsters the opportunity to go out there and say, "Look, if we are short of bodies and you need me, I'm available." And I think that Billy Blacker and Jamal Baptiste were probably 2 of the better players on pitch, if I'm honest. So I think for them, in terms of that, and I think he come out and admitted that after that. He had absolutely no intention of putting on Gus Hamer or Callum O'Hare, and you're bringing on 16-year-old Sam Colchin at right back as well. Just left school. No, do you know what? Now I think other managers have done it. When you look around, even I know they've got better, more money than us and a better squad. But you look at Newcastle's team today, against Bromley. You look at Stoke. You look at Sunderland against Stoke. It's paramount. I mean, realistically, are we ever going to win FA Cup ever again? Probably not. Let's be realistic. Can we win? Can we win Championship? Of course we can. So we've got to prioritise and league's priority. The best thing that's happened to us this weekend is Burnley and Leeds getting into the next round, because that's a game that they're not going to want, or that they don't need. That now we've got a week to get all those players back, and yeah, it just makes sense to me. And I thought at 1-0 we've got a chance. I wanted to win that game. I wanted to get through to the next round, but am I that bothered? Not really.
Yeah,
so
fair enough. Yep, and it would have been Stoke away as well, wouldn't it? In the
boring, isn't it? So
in the next round, so you're not missing a glamour tile, are you, Connor? All right, let's look at some positive tweets from the game. First of all, the M says Blacker looked very Peck-esque, which is a new adjective, which we'll allow. Who in turn looked very Arblaster-esque, which is a bad thing. Other poster here says Baptiste had made a decent debut, especially considering he played alongside an awful R&D. Blacker can be happy with that showing, so can Ryan. One, Brewster and R&D need moving on. Do you agree with that, Connor?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, the only 2 decent performances we saw out there really were Blacker and Baptiste. I thought they played pretty well, considering you'd expect the first team to step up and sort of support them through the game, and obviously you had R&D giving them the goal, and I'm not really sure what Brewster were doing again. But yeah, I think you're definitely correct. We need to move them on, but I think while the team's as light as it is, it's not really an option that we can go forward with yet.
It's a good job you agreed with that, because that came from you, Shax, that last post, didn't it? It's the identity was Rube, so they had an honest opinion. But just give us a word on Brewster. You've commented on him before, but he didn't take his chance.
He's not took his chance in 5 years, has he? Let's be honest. That weren't his chance. His chances have sailed down river many times. He's just, I don't know what to say. I don't know where these people come from that defend him. What is it that you see? What do you see? He don't score. It's just, I've lost words to describe him, and I'm sure he's a lovely kid. I'm sure he's tried his hardest. He's probably got a good attitude in training, like Wilder says. We don't see that bit of it. I dare say them injuries have haunted him and been horrible. And I do you know what I mean? I can go along with all them, but I'm a United fan that pays my money to see him on pitch. I don't pay to see him at Shirecliffe. I don't pay to see if he helps old ladies across the road. I don't pay for any of that. I pay to see him on that pitch, and on that pitch, I'm sorry, but he's that other night that were just a 4 out of 10 in a long series of 4, 3, 5 out of 10s. He's just not good enough at all for me. I don't know if these two agree. I don't really care if they agree. I don't really care if anybody agrees with me. The stats will tell you he's not good enough. Just get rid of him.
Okay. Finally, on this one, Dan, as many posters, including Shex said, is that we've discovered that Burrows is not a centre mid. Do you agree?
Probably, yeah. But again, you've got another young player coming in, playing out of position, doing a job for us in a very makeshift team. But going back to that last tweet, it's actually quite strange, because I said to a friend of mine, it looks like they're actually moulding the younger midfielders into the likes of Peck and Arblaster, and that's what I saw a bit of Billy Blacker. I saw a bit of that in him. And touching on what Shaq said about Brewster, I remember messaging Shaq a couple of times during the game, and everything just went backwards, whereas Billy Blacker wanted to pass it forwards into Ryan Oney or into it forwards. Everything from Brewster just come backwards, and I just think that's what an academy boy does when he's coming into the team for the first time, and he just wants to be safe option. And everything listen, like Shaq said, his injuries have killed him, but we're carrying a player that can't hit a barn door with a banjo, and it's just unfortunate, because we all wanted him to do well, but it's just not happening. But at the minute, we don't have anybody else, and when you've got your Moores and your Campbell's back and other players we're going to bring in, I don't even think you're going to see him in 20. In squad of 20, I really don't. So yeah, touching on that, I just don't think I don't think it's for me anymore. And it takes me a lot to get frustrated with players, but I'm just so disappointed with Brewster, because there were so many times he could have had a run at players, but it looked like he was the academy player and they were the experienced ones, to be honest. But
right, we shall leave the Cardiff game there then, if that's the case. You are too gutted about going out the FA Cup. I can tell. Let's talk about the transfers then briefly. So Chris Wilder was asked about this week, Connor. A direct quote was, he said, yeah, we've talked about it on a Zoom call yesterday, really interesting Zoom call with a data company we're going to get involved with, which is really good, opening up different avenues to recruitment. The new owners are very positive in terms of trying to help out. So we learned from that, Connor, that your recruitment is heading in the American way of doing things, isn't it? Which is to look at the data. Does that bother you?
Not really, no. I mean, I'm pretty sure, is it Brentford? I think they have that sort of type of scouting system. And you look what he's done for them. They've come up from the Championship and they've only got better and better. They've lost many key players for a lot of money, and they've always replaced them with cheap players from random leagues that you've never heard of. And it seems to pay off. So I'd definitely be interested, because the amount of signings we've made in the past that have been really poor, wasting money, like your Brewsters and etc. It's frustrating. So if we can be picking these cheap buys up and these free transfers for decent fees and moving them on, I'm all for it.
Okay. Transfer rumours this week, Shacks have focused around one man, Brereton Díaz even, is potentially heading your way, but it seems to be some sort of snag. Rumours are that it's because his partner's, well, he's expecting a child and wants to stay settled in some area. What have you heard, and what do you believe is going to happen here?
I've heard he's got a knee problem, and that's the hold up that they want to make it. It's got to be permanent in summer. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but I would want him anyway. I think Brereton Díaz with false legs would be better than some of our forwards. So it doesn't really matter to me if he's got a couple of issues. I think we should sign him. So yeah, I mean, I'm pleased that we're linked with him. At least let's get him out line.
Last week's video, thank you very much for all your comments. Some of the comments, people were saying Diaz, Hamza, Cannon. This is from 2009 Blade. So, Obs Assembly, and then the dream transfer window here from Chris was BBD, Tom Cannon, Hamza, and 2 centre backs. I don't want too much, Chris, but thank you for commenting here anyway. Dan, Tom Cannon seems to be coming up in a lot of people's lists. Who else have you heard rumours about? And should we be expecting any? Body coming in soon?
Yeah, I need to be careful what I said, but two of them players mentioned are pretty much there, to be honest, from what I'm led to believe. But some of them, I don't know. Tom Cannon, I think, is well and truly out of the picture. I'll be honest. I think there's too much to get that deal over the line. I don't think Leicester's going to call him back unless they recall him. I think you've got a lot to do with that deal. I think if Ben Brereton Díaz does come in, is another option to play down middle, is another option to play wide. I don't know. I think the boy from Forest, I don't even want to try and pronounce his name, centre half. I think they've been linked with him, haven't they? They've been linked with somebody. That story came up today. I think Shaq's mentioned him last week about John Joe Kenny, which I think would be a great signing for us. He's out of contract, I think, in the summer. I think it'd be a great signing at right back. It'd be a fantastic option for us. I think before the Norwich game we'll see players in. There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of stories coming out from certain pundits that people believe, which is an absolute load of rubbish. But we'll see what happens. But I do believe that there's 2 or 3 players who have not been involved for clubs this weekend that it looks like we probably might get before the Norwich game. So fingers crossed on that.
Cheers, Dan. Jack, you did speak about John Joe Kenny last week, and this week there's been a little bit more movement on it, hasn't there?
Yeah, I heard from a friend of mine that were Wilder's preferred choice. I think Sariq is still young, raw, and he's injured, which is always handy. But Gilchrist, I think I mentioned, I like Gilchrist. I think he's a good player, but I think he's probably in the we've got no chance of getting him in summer bracket unless we're prepared to buy him. And Chelsea are going to want big money, and he's a Chelsea fan as well, and so he's probably going to want to have his chance. He's like McAtee did. He wanted to have a chance at getting in their team. So I think right back is a position that I know Chowdhury can play there, but I think he's more of a midfielder. But I think Kenny at right back, like Dan's just said, on a free, looks like a steady player to me.
All right, brilliant. Please, in the comments below, add in your other rumours that you've heard or you want to happen, and we'll give some of those a shout out last week, like those people did. Thank you again for sharing all your views with us. Let's move on then to the last little couple of items. Connor, we've asked AI to predict, look at all your home games and give a prediction as how many points you're going to get. Let's have a quick look first of all at your remaining home games, and I tell you what, other than Leeds and Middlesbrough in the middle there is a favourable run in terms of the teams in their local positions at the moment to come to Bramall Lane. AI says that you'll win every single one of them apart from draw with Borough and draw with Leeds, totaling 29 points. They obviously haven't seen your injury list over the moment. What do you say to that, Connor?
I mean, I won't complain. Yeah, definitely, 100%. I mean, I'd like us to beat Leeds, obviously, but I mean the rest of it, the way we're playing, as long as we get the players back and some players in, you could definitely see us going for it. Obviously, tougher away from home, but we've got a very favourable run in considering we've got most of the big teams out of the way, especially away from home.
Yeah, look at that run in. Checks Bristol City, Coventry, Millwall, Cardiff, and then maybe a tricky one against Blackburn. But that is looking good on paper, isn't it?
It is, but an old cliche, it's not played on paper, is it? And Championship's one of them leagues why one of the reasons why I love it, I love it more than Premier League, is because anybody on the day can beat anybody, and that's what makes it exciting. You know, when you're gonna last season in Premier League or Premier League games, Southampton are finding out this season, Ipswich, Leicester. When you're pretty much nailed on what's going to happen every Saturday, you're going to get leathered. That's probably what's going to happen. There's probably a 99% chance, but in Championship, it's not like that. I mean, some better teams, I think, what's come to lane this season have been them down near bottom. I thought Plymouth were a good footballing side. I thought Oxford in spells were a good footballing side. And then you play some of your supposed better teams, and like West Brom, I didn't think they were that much cop. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of it. AI can pick what it wants, but I think every Sheffield United fan knows that game's not played on paper, and AI hasn't seen us play. I mean, AI wouldn't have predicted Norrington Davis doing what he did the other night, would it? So I don't go along with all that AI stuff or Mystic Meg, whoever you want to call it. I just think that we've got to treat every game as a cup final on it. You know, not look too far ahead. Just look at that one game. So next cup final is Norwich at home, and then we move on and on like that. But we can't be looking at 10, 15 games ahead and saying, oh, we haven't got them to play, because they don't know what Sheffield United are like, I'm afraid.
Okay. Right, before we move on to our final topic, then please drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so, but only just found us for the first time. We're looking to get to 350 this week. If you can help us do so. Right, because it's January, it's a rubbish month. It's cold, it's miserable. No one likes it. We're having a bit of fun on Where Blades Walk over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and we're putting together the world's worst Blades starting 11 of the Championship era, the last 20 years. We're starting in goal this week. And then next week we'll do strikers and then managers as well to finish off with as we head into February. So Dan, kick this off for us. Who's the worst goalkeeper you've seen in the sticks?
Lee Baxter. 45 minutes at Burnley, I think it was. It looked like it was the first time he'd ever played. He'd actually played in the Champions League for someone like AFK Gothenburg or something. Yeah, Malmo, that's the one. And he was horrendous. Absolutely horrific. I've never seen a goalkeeper as bad. And then I think Alan Fettis came on second half for him, and we didn't concede after that. But yeah, for me, he's got to be worst ever goalkeeper.
Connor, can you beat that?
I can't remember him from Dan, but
they were bad.
Showing me age a bit there, aren't I?
They were bad. I were at that game. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's not one I can remember. But recent history, to be honest, there's a debate for three of them, because I think we saw Verrips for one game and he was absolutely tragic, and I think we conceded 4 at West Brom. We've seen Robin Olsen come, and we've also seen Gribic, and they were all just as bad as each other, to be honest.
Okay, loads of shouts here. Shax, what are you going with as your worst ever?
I've gone last, Anna, so they've took 4 names straight out of my mouth there. I remember we had a lad on loan from Blackburn called Mark Bunn. And I remember we beating Wednesday 3-0 at home on a Friday night, I believe, and then one of their players, I think it was Sias, just hit ball from about 35 yards out and megged him somehow. And he were a dodgy keeper, Mark Bunn. But I'm going to have to go with Connor and go Gribic. Lee Baxter, as Dan said, were frightening, but he were only frightening for 45 minutes. So, but Gribic were just. I mean, Verrips were bad. I think he knocked himself out on somebody. Did Keane Bryan kick him in the head? I forget what he did, but no, I'll go Gribic.
I totally forgot about him, Gribic. How can I forget about him? Goodness me.
Gribic.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him. That's how much he's been missed.
He didn't have any highlights, did he, for us to remember doing all right?
No.
Right. There's hundreds of you that watch each week. We're very grateful for that. But if you can help us do this, put in the comments below who's the worst goalkeeper that you've ever seen as a United one. We'll put this up on the screen next week and make our worst 11 as we get through this worst month together. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Good luck against. Good luck this weekend.
Norwich at home.
Norwich at home, of course. You're about to it was on the tip of my tongue. I knew it.
Yeah.
It was coming to me. I nearly said Burnley, but we've
our
done
friends
that one.
Norwich.
Yes, of course. Enjoy the game. We'll catch up with you. Review the Norwich game next week. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in 7 days' time.